Hello, welcome to the adventures of Valheim, and today I'm going to be spending 100 days in Valheim. And unlike other 100 days, this isn't just regular 100 days challenge, this is 100 days in Valheim without killing the Haldor. Will I live or will I die? Join in for my adventure to see how I will fare in this cruel and cold Viking world. Well, this is my second 100 day run. Last time I spent 100 days without killing Eikthyr, and now it's Haldor's turn, and this will be an interesting run. Like previously, the challenge itself is self-explanatory. Spend 100 days without killing bosses until the last day and gather as much resources as possible for every biome you can possibly get. This means that you're limited to just having resources without killing the bosses and using the game mechanics. However, like previously, there's usually 2 rules for the challenge, and I'll be talking about it. And like previously, rule 1, don't beat the last boss until the last few days before day 100. This means you have to wait for fighting the boss for a very long time. I highly advise maybe day 99, and longer ones maybe at max day 95. However, doing it early will fail the challenge, so be aware of that. And rule 2, no cheating, play legit. What this means that you need to play according with the game intention and not using any exploits. Things like the stack breaker is allowed to do, but things like no clipping at crypt isn't allowed, or using cheat codes. But this means that you need to use game sense, and this will work wonderfully at the game through. Now, with these 2 rules out of the picture, let's get into it. Now, I skipped day towards to day 15 since there isn't much talk about other than I built this huge stone house, which will become my new house for now on. I also got invaded 3 times by armies of Smurfs, and they stood very little chance for my advanced armor and weapons, though I will kill their master tree eventually. I built a trench on the right side, moved all my stuff, rebuilt a new storage system, and placed few smelters near a shore. I also cooked some advanced food for my next day plan, which is day 16 and 17. I sit towards the skeleton island that I previously unexplored. Now, my plan here is to find at least 20 iron so I can craft my iron pickaxe, which I needed to get towards the mountain for the silver. And all I need to do is use this stack breaker and find those muddy scrap piles underneath that I missed on my previous adventure. Now, I landed my boat and placed a portal in there. I killed that abomination for my final root mask level, and I finally found the scrap piles beneath. I dug up the graves and took all the scrap that I could. Now, I also tried out my upgraded Edgar, and it's surprisingly good against the 2-star draugrs and 1-star. And wow, look at that stun, man. It's excellent for taking them out. I wish I made the Edgar and upgraded it beforehand. Day 18. I sailed towards the north for finding more swamps. I did find a tiny swamp island which also had a crypt, which I could go later on. And towards far north is a plains biome, which I could potentially place a base there much later. Now, I decided to sail back towards Haldor's village, which I didn't know also had a plains biome nearby. and by nighttime I noticed a Drago village, which was also near Haldor, which I could have placed a portal there, but oh well, at least I can do someday for it. Day 19. I landed my boat towards another tiny swamp island. I clear out the Drago spawner inside the ruined tower and checked every single ground if there's scrap piles, which sadly there were none. And in day 20 I took my portal and crafting bales to sail towards the next swamp. This meadow biome was near a decently big swamp, which I cleared out the beehive from the abandoned house and placed my portal in there for my exploration. Okay. Now, I found a fruit crypt and I put a location here so that once I get the swamp key for my next challenge, I could go there later. And in day 21, I finally found another scrap pile, though this one gave me 6 scrap piles instead of 4, which mean I have 10 scrap piles to go. And in day 22, I sailed south, which I found another meadows near a swamp, where I placed my 5th swamp portal in there. Day 23. I moved my stuff and my boat nearly close to the swamp so it's easier to move. And in day 24 to 25, I found not 1, not 2, but 3 scrap piles, which gave me around 20 iron scraps. Though the third one I didn't mind completely since the rest is underwater. Also, I killed the user for an extra scrap drop, which I got none, and I sniped that right for chains. Day 26. I set my boat towards my house base, landed my boat, and killed that little brat creature. I took my scrap metal and smelted it. While iron is melting, I built 2 portals, one for the mountain and other for the spawn, where I place a portal there for easy access for the Forsaken powers, which could come handy for next 100 days adventure. After that, I built myself an iron pickaxe, which allows me to mine silver, and this will bring it to my next destination. Day 27. I ran towards my nearest mountain and tried to find a good place to set my base in. I found a nice cave which I marked, though I heard a wolf behind me who tried to attack me, which I gave a taste for its own medicine, and I got its precious fur. I also mined this obsidian for my final upgrade to the crafting bench. And I placed my portal right towards an abandoned outpost, which I could use it for later. Now I got myself the tool shelf, chopped some ancient bark in the swamp, and finally upgraded my root armor to max for extra protection. Day 28. I built a roof so those tiny dragons wouldn't attack it, and I snapped that tiny dragon which was close to my base, so it doesn't harass it. I was also exploring and tried to find some valuable inside a ruined cabin. There wasn't anything valuable other than gems and amber, so I decided just to find silver instead. It didn't take long to find silver as I found its location. I dug it, marked it, and burned some silver for making a wolf cape. I placed a smelter so I can smelt the silver for the coat. I mined a hole for an easier way to deposit silver. And finally, above my base, I found another silver vein, which I marked for its location before day 29. And in day 29, I mined copper in the Black Forest so I can make a forge for it. I also upgraded it to level 2, which allows me to make the wolf armor early, which I decided to craft instead since wolf cape requires the wolf head, which I had none currently. I casual was mining the ore vein until I accidentally dropped that stone golem near my silver vein, which kind of bothered me since I needed all the silver that I can get. So I decided to waste my fire arrow so I can kill it, which gave me crystals for crafting. I finally mined myself the wolf armor chest, and I left the rest of the stuff in the base so I can focus for the next day, which is day 30. In day 30, I was crafting some milkshakes since I didn't have any deer meat left. Though at this point in the game, it's not needed as I need more stamina in the mountains, which is a little bit fair. I found another abandoned castle-like structure, which is guarded by skeletons. I climbed up the staircase, hoping that I could find some onion seeds, though instead I met with the same loot as the cabin one, which is kinda disappointing. Though afterwards I was just leaving it for the next day. Day 31. I was started to mine the silver vein, and during nighttime when I was picking mushrooms I found a 2-star boar close by, which I thought was a wild boar, but instead it was one of my own boars who escaped from captivity. I think it was the boar that escaped from my previous 100 challenge day. How did you? I'll investigate that later. Then afterwards, I was ambushed by an army of smurfs which tried to see if my 2-star boar could kill one of them. Unfortunately, my boar died towards one of the smurfs who murdered it. I avenged my farm animal and killed every smurf I come across, and also their giant brother-in-law. Day 32. I was exploring the mountains for trying to find silver veins, which I found one in the top, which close of it was a ruined keep that was guarded by Shreks, which I managed to snipe one of them, which housed this frost dragon locator and the most valued loot in the chest, the onion seed, which I needed to make the onion farm. The Shrek tried to butt sex me behind, but I took care of it, and afterwards I located the boss dragon location. Below the fortress I found another silver vein location, and I also found another loot chest which didn't have any valuables other than the obsidian, which I wasted my healing potion flask for. Day 33. I was grazing the ground, building some walls, using this stack breaker for breaking small trees and cultivating the ground for. This was because I was making an onion farm, which I definitely needed for onion soup, since that would be very handy to make as it gives me reasonably good stamina and is cheaper to make. Day 34. I was chopping some ancient bark trees in the swamp for making myself a new battle axe. And in day 35 I was trying to shoot this wolf, which for some reason hitboxes can often be bad at times since he often pass through them, though I did manage to hit it. While mining silver, another golem got stuck above, which again made me waste all my arrows for. Day 36. To craft myself a crystal battle axe, which is a weapon that is like an axe but has AoE like Edgar. I tested if it can chop birchwood, which it actually did, and it was surprisingly good for. After which I replaced my bronze and Edgar axe as my primary weapon to use it. Also during exploring, I found another silver vein in the surface, which I marked its location. It's a rare sight to see it in game, but I welcome one as I didn't need to use my stack breaker for. And in day 37 to 45, I mined all the silver I could find, and I also got myself a second Drake trophy, which allowed me to craft the silver helmet. Finding Drake trophies for some reason took long, but I finally got another one. And in day 46, I started to move my cart with all of the silver towards my boat, which was very annoying to do, as the terrain can sometimes make it so you can't move your cart if the ground is slightly too high. Though, since my cart was close towards the boat, I landed there and lowered the ground. A skeleton tried to ambush me, but I gave it a taste of its own medicine. Meanwhile, during nighttime when I was organizing the goal, I got raided by the Smurf armies for killing their brethren. Now, I wasn't taking any rest though. However, with my advanced armor and my newly made weapon, they stood zero chance against towards me, and I slaughtered the entire group with a single swing during the entire night. When the raid ended, I slaughtered the last of them until I could finally take a sleep. Though, they gave me a reasonable amount of loot. Day 47. I landed my boat close to the cart where I landed it. I shot any intruders, including that giant smurf that was standing right close towards my boat, which I didn't appreciate. And I made myself a staircase so I can bring all the silver towards my boat so that I don't need to jump or swim, as the silver itself was way too heavy. And in day 48, I mined all the copper I could find near my shore for the extra shortest space, so up to day 49, I sold my boat all the silver copper that I got. I smelted the copper, and while the coppers are smelting, I empty my cargo by taking 25 silver per as opposed to 30, since I needed to jump, and I did it in rinse and repeat until my boat was empty with silver. And in day 50, I upgraded my helmet to level 2. Then I built myself a butcher table, which allows me to get some mounted tier food. After that, I upgraded all my silver armor to max, upgraded my bow to almost max, and my battle axe to level 2. Though, I still need more ancient bark for both the bow and the axe, so that they're completely maxed as possible. I also tested out my newly upgraded battle axe against the mighty tree creature. The tree wanted to flee as I was too mighty for it, but it realized that it ain't a pussy, so it ran towards me hoping to kill me. Though, it was no match for me as I slayed it and took all its bark skin. At the end of it, I collected as many ancient wood as possible all the way until day 53, where I got all the chests full of stacks of it. Day 54. When I was preparing to explore the frosty caves, I noticed that one of my chests were broken, and then I noticed a foot tried to bite my ass. Though, I chopped this poor doggy off, and after it, I rebuilt the chest. I prepared to explore the frosty cave. At first, I found an icy wall blocking my path, until I smashed it and I found some valuable crystals on the left side. I walked towards a tight tunnel until a bat tried to give rabies towards me. I tried to swing my axe, yet I missed all of my hits. The bat flew towards the left side, which I turned carefully, and it really revealed a hidden basement where the furries are living. I opened the door and sneaked carefully. I noticed a red curtain, which I hid it, but I also accidentally killed a dog. Sorry, Peter. I noticed on the right that a furry wasn't happy about it and tried to burn me to death, though I dodged its deadly attack and murdered it afterwards. I looted inside some fur, and also shut the curtains for extra loot. I did this in every basement. I assassinated every last of evidence, and when I got all the stuff, I broke the final brazier for extra bronze. And afterwards I left all the stuff towards the chest. Now, back to the same cave. I found another furry basement and a dog at full speed tried to escape from this place. I stabbed it because I thought he was trying to attack me, but then a full pack of threesome dogs are tried to begging me to end their lives. As they seem to want me to end their misery. What sick and twisted fuck do just a thing to these innocent dogs? I may never know. I ended every life I come across, including their sex masters, and pillaged all their stuff to the black market. And in day 55, I returned back and took all their stuff towards my base. I also killed some few boars in my base as I needed to cook some turnips too for my next adventure, which is of course day 56. I explored the other cave which houses a lot of bats and such. I also explored few basements too. These ones were very short and weren't as deep as previous one, with the final one having just 2 doggers and nothing else. I took all the loot and returned home. At base, when I was trying to build a bed, I heard a crocodile trying to break my boat, which I investigated. This croc had some serious anger issue with my boat, which I wasn't happy about it, so I gave it a taste of its own nap. I rebuilt my bed and made some curtains for my doorway, which gave me slightly higher resting buff, which after decorating I started to sleep for day 57, in which I built a brazier and put some coal in it. And in day 58 I was mining some obsidian and exploring the mountain around it, which I did find a third frost cave that I marked, and I was gonna explore it later. And above the mountains I used my stack breaker, which it did reveal another silver vein underneath. I dug down on it until a wolf with a full speed tried to bite me, though it was above and couldn't even hit it. Though I moved a little bit and ended its life, which afterwards I was going back to business. I found the silver vein and marked its location until I could mine again next time. Returning home, I placed all my obsidian into the chest, and afterwards I returned back towards the frosty caves and explored this place. Underneath the place I found a very rare place, which is the frozen lake area, and underneath it lies a sleeping rock. I marked the location as this place might become very special later on, as I need to clear the basement first. I slaughtered the furry inhabitants, took their valuables and returned back towards the surface until I found outside a very nude yet angry furrycon who isn't happy with what I did to his roommates. I gave it some fart arrows perkies for the deeply use of DeviantArt, which I put it to sleep. He dropped his gloves, which I took it and returned home. Day 59. I crafted more arrows as I needed to clear out this giant walking rock that was bothering underneath, as I wasn't risking trying to melee it. I shoot all my arrows until the rock creature crumbled, which I took its loot, placed some fire and read someone's blood writing. The cave was kinda disappointed as there isn't a single pot with the fish, so I just jumped up and left it. And back to the surface. I explored around the mountain to find some potential places for frost caves, and I found at least 3 in total. And when it was nighttime, I returned to my nearest swamp portal as it was the closest way home, in which I dumped all my items into the chest for my next day adventure. Day 60. I cooked some food for the exploration towards the ice cave that I've located, and in day 61 to 63 I did nothing else other than explore all the frost caves that I found. Now, this one cave I found 2 boss locators that located the ice dragon, which is kinda randomly done. And the other cave I found has pool of water, yet I didn't find any of those fishes which spawn there, which is a real shame as I may need it for the upcoming patch. And in day 64, I got all these loots from my last cave exploration. Now, with all the hair, I crafted it to become a sneaky hoodlum, and the reason I needed it is for the movement speed, as this set really benefits for putting on my stuff later in the game. Now, back to mountain. I took all my bronze and ran all the way towards the shore and placed all my bronze towards the cart. I did the same with iron. I sailed my boat towards the Blackwood shore, landed my boat and placed all my metals into the boat for my next day. And in day 65 I sailed my boat towards my base as usual, and I decided to decorate my house for the extra comfort level, as I got enough resources to increase its level. And finally I placed a stone throne in the kitchen, as the rim was very expensive due to nails and it breaks if it's not on the ground. Now I can relax and enjoy the house. Day 66. I did nothing but farm onions, which I'm gonna fill my entire chest full of onion seeds. And I also broke some branches for extra wood and also lowering the frame rate I've been getting. And in day 67, I took with me 4 iron ingots and headed towards the merchant, as I've decided to build myself a cabin of sorts. Now, since it was storming and the wind direction is headed the opposite where I'm supposed to head, I have no choice other than to land my boat and chop my boat. And the reason I'm doing that is because it will take too much time to sail, as the wind would just blow up there where I was heading. And I wasn't wasting a lot of time. I chopped my boat, took all the resources and headed straight towards the merchant. Once I arrived, I placed the chest and placed all my iron so that I can head towards my head base. And finally I placed my chopped boat right towards the shore so I can sail again. And in day 68 to 72, I spent nothing more than chop all the things in hiring the ground and build this small cabin base where I can place all my Blackwood resources into my future plan. It's nice, isn't it? I lowered the ground a little enough so that I can move my cart in the Blackwood. And finally at home, I made myself some onion soup, and I also wasted some blood bags as I got enough blood bags to make myself a food. Yet I don't recommend to anyone, as it's waste of resources in this game. Day 73. I was chopping some wood to get some core wood before filling my chest and getting for my bridge. After this I lowered the ground and started to build the bridge, and it took all its time until day 74 to 75, where I made some fences for it. A troll nearby spawned near my base, but my fully upgraded Drugger fan, it just finished it off for 3 hits and such and became less of a problem. I really need to do something about this area. Day 76. It was raining and I had a fierce battle against the 1-star troll. This troll almost killed me, but the good thing is that I got my healing potions ready, which allowed me to survive even longer. After a few minutes I landed my arrows and the troll got slain. Day 77 to 89. I spent nothing more other than mining tin and copper at the Blackwoods, and it took quite a while until day 90 when I got chest full of it. I placed all my ores into the boat until I got issues trying to sail. The boat got stuck and I needed to move and move a little bit so that I can sail. It's very annoying to deal. After a couple minutes the boat finally sailed, though I changed my mind as before I can sail towards my base, I needed to do something, so I returned towards my middle base for now. I took my onion seeds and farmed it, and I also crafted myself some frost arrows as if I encounter a serpent, I may needed it to get some serpent meat during night. I swam back towards my boat and sail once again during the night. Now, when I was sailing my boat took a lot of damage because I accidentally hit one of the ogres from the swamp. And at day 90, I looked at my boat condition and how much damage it took, and it didn't look so good. Though, luckily, I didn't encounter any serpent and I did manage to get home. Though, when I was trying to push my cart, it doesn't seem to move for some reason. I guess it's too heavy, so I took all the ores in my hand and placed it on their specific chests. And after this I crafted some fire arrows for the elder fight, though it might be too much, so I placed all my fire arrows into chests once I'm ready to fence against the tree god. After which I decided to expand my base by flooding the ground, hiring up the ground so mobs can't reach, and building a staircase so that mobs can only reach me there. I got raided yet again while building this, though it gave me enough resources for stone, wood and ice after getting raided, so no need to worry about resources burning. In day 92 to 94, I spent nothing more other than lowering the ground and making a huge trench on my left side of the base, as I'm less likely to get raided by monsters from my future challenges. As far as I can tell, this is all I made though, and I still need to make the trench much larger when I have time in my future series. For now, this is what I got. Day 95. I spent nothing more other than breaking portals for every island, as all I need is one portal per island. I broke my Draugr spawner as I don't need it anymore, and I decided to move all of my portals into my single house. I renamed this portal so that I can teleport towards Mother in for tomorrow. And in day 96, I changed my hoodlum gear into the silver gear, as I needed protection against the mountain mobs if something goes wrong or I land in plains. I took my boat and sailed towards the Mother's location. While sailing, I noticed there were 3 turtles nearby, which is probably my luckiest spawn. I may sail near them one day to get some barnacle, but right now I need to place a locator once I come back one day. Also at night time, I finally found the sea serpent swimming at the surface. I took my bow and shot it, and once killed, I collected all the meat as I can, as serpent meat becomes very valuable in the near future. But for now, I will focus on finding Mother once I got the meat. Finally, when arriving, I landed my boat, killed any witnesses, marked my boat location, and I headed straight towards the location. And in day 97, I found the altar, which is above me, as the reason why I'm above the mountain top is for making a base near it at one point in the future. I mined the stone, placed a portal, and before heading back towards my base, I chopped my boat and took all its materials back towards home. And while back at home, I got invaded one last time by the Smurfs. Since I've already built myself a trench, all of the Smurfs have no other option other than to swim and reach all the way towards the staircase where I have built. Now, I didn't get as much resources as needed be, but by telling the direction they're heading, I'm very satisfied of what I've built. Day 98. I took a screenshot of my Black Forest cabin base for thumbnail, and back at my base I tear down the portal house with my hammer as it doesn't serve its purpose anymore, as I've already have a room for them. I got a lot of wood for that. I also picked up strawberries, also tear down my old house for wood, and I chopped my strawberry bushes as I may need it to build a huge place like a locks gate or something. And finally at day 99, it was boss time. I ate my food before fighting the boss. I summoned the boss, but not before there was a skeleton stalking me. And once this guy was awakened, I chopped with my crystal battle axe at it. Much like with the elk, I felt like killing the boss was too quick, so I decided to just spam my fire arrows at it so that it slowly dies from fire. All the boss can do is just stomp on me, and all I did was just casually standing there closely and tanking the damage. At one point I was almost dying, yet as I casually move away a little bit to regen some health, his Smurf minions have arrived to assist against me, yet these Smurfs don't realize something. It was too little too late as I slain their master long before they could do anything. As the mighty tree got crumpled, I got his head and his keys and headed back home. After filling all my junk in that I got my inventory, I headed back at the altar to place his head and gaining his strength. I finally gained his ability to chop wood faster. And back at the base, much like previously, I drank my own beer, building some windows for the entire house before finally going to sleep for my final day. And there you have it, it's day 100. Now, if you guys enjoyed my video, put thumbs up and comment down below. This was my 100 days spent in Valheim without killing the Elder. Next up will be Bone Mass, which will be the future, so stay tuned for it. As of now, I'll see ya later. Goodbye.
Kisses of the sun were sweet, I didn't blink, I let it in my eyes. Like an exotic drink, the radio playing songs that I have never heard. I don't know what to say. Oh, not another word.